Welcome into the Oh Health Yeah podcast, brought to you by Healthy is Wellness. As you all know, our mission is to empower you to take control of your health and elicit a little bit of curiosity in your life when it comes to the world of wellness. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And if you have loved ones or friends that you think would benefit from this, share it with them. Let's get this thing going. Welcome in, Healthy is Wellness family. Today's going to be a little bit different. We're doing a little fun episode today. Zach, the producer, the social media guru behind the screen, is going to be shooting questions, hot topics when it comes to health and wellness. We're going to talk through those things. There might be some that we agree on, there might be some we disagree on, but he's just going to shoot some topics off and we're going to talk about them a little bit. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, Gus, here I am, the man behind the tablet and laptop. I'm thinking, how do you feel about mindfulness and meditation apps?
Mindfulness and
Like
meditation apps.
Calm or Headspace. Like, those are two
Love
really
'em.
big ones.
I love them. I think we talk a lot about calm and stress within our program and how beneficial it is. But the fact that people have taken that and put it in an app to where it's extremely convenient to use, I love. And I think when we talk about this often, like I said, but it doesn't matter if it's beginning of the day, it doesn't matter if it's end of the day. Those things can be extremely beneficial, and the practices that they have in there can help people mentally a ton. So I love them.
I really like this one called Dalio. Have you ever heard of Dalio? My wife was doing it there for quite a while. Basically, it's like an app that sends you a push notification and has you check in, and it like you can do the quick push notification. I think it just gives you like a extra sad, kind of sad, neutral, happy, very happy face, and you just rate your day. But if you actually click into the app, you can rate every day. It's like journaling for your mood, like when you're in therapy or you're trying a new medication, new antidepressant. For example, keeping a record of how you're feeling on a regular basis can be super helpful. And I think that is like you can literally like it has all sorts of different activities and categories of like if you're feeling sad, why are you feeling sad? Are you grieving? Are you mourning? Are you on your menstrual cycle? Are you obviously speaking for my wife on that regard, I think it can be a really valuable thing for all sorts of people. So I really like mindfulness and meditation apps and things like Dalio, Calm,
Yeah.
Headspace. So
I like the logging too that you just said. Like we talk a lot about where you at. In order to know where you're at when it comes to your health, a lot of it's emotional based. Like it's not just a number on a scale. It's not just my grip strength. It's like if somebody's asking me where I'm at when it comes to health, a lot of that is based off of the emotion and the way you feel. So the fact that they use those things is extremely beneficial to quantify change over the course of time.
so I really like to get into like the good right off the bat. I think it's good, but now it's going to get a little bit more controversial, and I know for a fact that you and I have different feelings on this one. Artificial sweeteners. How do you
Mm.
feel about artificial sweeteners versus sugar?
Mm. I think it's dependent on the way that you instill them in your life, and I think that a lot of our principles that we instill are still we still want to use them even if it's artificial sweeteners. It's like the healthiest no sugar flour for breakfast. I would still like to incorporate proteins and fats with that first meal versus something with an artificial sweetener. I do think there's benefits when it comes to like if you're comparing apples to apples, like a spoonful of sugar is completely different than a protein bar with artificial sweeteners. I would much rather have the protein bar because you're getting protein, although there's artificial sweeteners that live inside that, versus like, okay, I'm going to eat a spoonful of sugar or just a normal Reese's, whatever that is. So that's kind of my take. What are your thoughts?
I think that, and this is probably the most you guys will ever hear me talk about a topic, to be honest. But I think that it's about risk reduction, right? Do I think that artificial sweeteners are the safest thing on the planet? Probably not. I mean, there are so many research studies. I think I've heard quick facts about how aspartame is one of the most researched food ingredients in the world because there's been so much controversy on it.
Mhm.
Um, but like the whole basis of healthy as wellness is meeting people where they're at. And if somebody's drinking a 12 pack of Coke a day, that alone, I think there's like probably between 30 and 40 grams of sugar per can. So times 10, 3, 4, that's like 380 to 450 grams of sugar a day. And if that person can have Diet Coke every day of the week,
Yeah.
I'm going to have them have that much less sugar per day and calories too. And I know we don't talk about calories a ton, but I think it's so important. And it's about risk reduction. It's like if you have somebody that's addicted to a drug like heroin, for example, getting them on methadone or Suboxone as opposed to quitting cold turkey. It's just not feasible. It's not realistic. To have somebody, I don't want to say it's not realistic or feasible, because it is. It's not sustainable, and that is the key to this health and wellness stuff, especially for not the ultra dialed. Like, the ultra marathon athlete that's running 100 miles, should they, that's something that I might talk to them about. Inflammatory oils or artificial sweeteners, sure. But people like that, and I love that we can appeal to that demographic, but I also want to appeal to the people that are drinking a 12 pack of soda a day, because that's where I was once.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's important for us. So,
And it's about progress, not perfection. It's
yeah.
like the world of wellness. We know that if we want to instill change in people's lives that can last them the rest of their life, it has to be something they enjoy.
Yeah.
So if you enjoy artificial sweeteners, have your artificial sweeteners, enjoy your life. But the world of wellness oftentimes gets this negative connotation that it's like you have to be perfect.
Right. Yeah.
You have to do X, Y, and Z to live in this space.
Yeah.
And we're big believers in it's not perfection, it's progress. And the definition of health is your ability to be fully present in any moment. So if my definition of health is sitting down with my grandpa and having a beer or having a Diet Coke, I'm going to have those things and spend time with my grandpa because I love him and that's what's important to me. It's not that artificial sweeteners are the devil, but they're a lot better choice than the natural stuff.
Than regular sugar. Yeah. I think if you drink 12 Cokes a day, which I know that sounds like an exaggeration, let's be real. It's not. People do that all the time. I used to do that all the time with Mountain Dew, you know? And going to a diet soda, more often than not, it's going to cause you to lose weight. And if you doing that causes you to lose weight and allows you to live your life more presently and more fully, do it. Full send.
Yep.
So that's how I feel about that. You ready for the next?
Yes. Keep
Anything
coming.
else you wanted to add?
No, I love it.
Okay.
It's perfect.
So let's go. Okay. All right.
Where'd you find these topics? You just Google?
Chat GPT. Organic versus conventional food.
Oh, dollar value. I think not everyone in the world has the ability to be able to do that financially. So we know that there can be benefits to it. There can be benefits to it from a nutrient value perspective, but every single person is not going to have the ability to be able to buy things that are organic. And I think I heard this a while back, but it talked a lot about peels. Like if you eat the peel, then it's much more important that you go organic if you're going to go organic. If you don't eat the peel, then it's not as big of a deal. So, like a banana, we don't eat the peel. Okay, well, maybe I'll just buy normal bananas. But an apple, where you do eat the peel, it can be more beneficial to go organic route. But I think the number one thing that comes to my mind when it comes to organic versus non organic is not causing a barrier in people's lives to begin taking control of their health.
And cost is the biggest part of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. I would never tell somebody that you need to go organic when it's their first step in the wellness world. Like you don't need to go organic. We have some foods at our house that are organic and some that aren't. But I don't go to the store just searching for organic things.
Well, two of my favorite facts about the organic stuff is, like, as much as I love Albertsons, and I love Albertsons, when you walk in and you go to the produce section, they put the organic stuff in the front, so it's the first thing you see, and they put the non-organic stuff all the way at the back of the store. Have you noticed that? Because you worked at the one in the Heights.
Yep, I did way back.
Yeah, did you ever
Glory
see that?
days. I did, yeah,
Yeah,
high
so
school.
organic in the front,
Yep.
which, in, like, let's say organic zucchini, it's like almost double the price. But the other fun little tidbit I love to tell people is, like, don't be afraid to get frozen food, like frozen peas. And the statistic that I've heard is, like, frozen vegetables are actually more nutrient dense because they're flash frozen on site and then put into freezers, which locks the nutrients in and they don't have time to decay and rot, like organic vegetables. So
Yeah, the majority of frozen stuff is frozen at the peak ripeness. So yes, it is. It's extremely nutrient dense.
all right, let's go with one more.
What's your next one?
I think what everybody's thinking about, what everybody's talking about, it's the biggest topic in the world right now. That's GLP-1 medication. Things like Ozempic, Wegovy, tirzepatides, Zepbound, stuff like that. What's your take? What's your thought?
It's a tool. It's a tool that can help you to obtain your goals based off of whatever it is you're trying to achieve. I'm not in the camp that it's like this horrible thing. I think it's something that can help people when it comes to their health and wellness. But I think the thing about GLP-1s is pairing them with behavior change. If you're going to utilize any form of substance, I even think, like, even when we talked about artificial sweeteners, it's different, but it's the same. Like if you're going to opt for these things, GLP-1s help to suppress appetite. How can we pair that with behavior change? For example, we talk a lot about time restricted feeding and that concept, a 12-hour break from food. If you're going to utilize a GLP-1, great. Now, can you incorporate time restricted feeding with that? Or can you incorporate no sugar or flour for breakfast, breaking your fast with protein? Because we know that when you're on those GLP-1s, oftentimes it suppresses the appetite. In turn, you're not consuming as much. So I believe in GLP-1s. I believe they have a niche in the space. But I think the biggest thing with them is pairing behavior change that's very protein centric and muscle focused to be able to help people utilize the tool to lose body fat specifically as much as we can to allow them to help reduce their risk of whatever it is they're fighting, type of thing. What are your thoughts?
I really like that. I think where I come from with it is it's a risk reduction. Um,
Absolutely.
I think it's very similar in regards to the hype around it that gastric bypass or sleeve gastrectomy had
Mhm.
10 years ago, 15 years ago. The most important thing for me about it is the behavior change that comes with it. And in the same breath of saying behavior change with it, it's sustainability. Just like so many people got gastric bypass, which is great. It was such a great tool. It still is a great tool, but if you don't change your behavior over time, your stomach will stretch back out and you fall back into those old habits. So it's about changing your habits.
Mhm.
The GLP-1, more often than not, is going to kill your appetite. It's going to suppress the crap out of your appetite, right? But what about when you build a tolerance to it?
Mhm.
That's the thing. Like, are
Yep.
you going to be on it for the rest of your life?
Exactly.
Some people might, and there's no shame in that.
Mhm.
But it's about creating those healthy habits, intermittent fasting, TRF. Um, and then also the other part that I think is the scary part about GLP-1s, and that's not to be fear mongering in any way, because I think that GLP-1s can be literally the most amazing things on the planet. I've heard different studies, and don't quote me here, but I've heard different studies of people talking about how it can help with alcohol and drug addiction. It can help with your heart health, your cardiovascular health,
Mhm. Absolutely.
but muscle mass. When you lose weight rapidly, whether you use gastric bypass, GLP-1, or you do it calories in or calories out,
Mhm.
if you do it quickly, you're going to lose muscle unless you're doing something proactive to inhibit that from happening,
Mhm.
whether that be eating protein or weightlifting on a regular basis.
Yep.
You have to do something to stop that muscle loss.
Mhm.
So I think that's a huge highlight, is not losing your muscle mass while you're doing any type of weight loss.
Absolutely. Yep. It's huge. And I think not only do we have the behavior change that can help people to maintain muscle mass throughout that journey. If you lose significant amount of weight, you're going to lose muscle mass. Like that's going to happen, but it's a matter of maintaining as much as you can. And this is also one of the reasons that within our business, we think the InBody is so valuable. Like we use the InBody 770 because it shows us what's going on with your muscle mass, with your body fat mass, with your inflammation, and it allows us to see, okay, you might be losing weight. If that's your goal, great. But are you losing muscle mass? Because if you are, we want to incorporate behavior change, whether it's protein, sleep, rucking, little things like that, to help you maintain that muscle mass. And we've even had people that are using GLP-1s that come in and see us on a monthly basis. And we love to support them because that in body shows them what's going on within their body. And one of the key things that we're seeing a lot of is the visceral fat number dropping,
Yeah.
which ties into what you just said. When it comes to like chronic risk, chronic disease, we know how important visceral fat is. If your visceral fat is elevated, your risk for all forms of chronic disease goes up. As that number drops, your risk drops. And like you just mentioned, you're seeing stuff about alcoholism, about productivity, about heart disease, like all those risks associated with GLP-1. And I think a lot of it has to do with the reduction in visceral fat that people see.
Okay. I really love that we were able to do a podcast that is a little bit more long-winded. It's fun to have some back and forth and talk about it. Was there anything else that you wanted to touch on before we wrap up?
I don't think I think we touched on everything. I think if you guys enjoy these, shoot us ideas for stuff that you want us to talk about. Like we can Google stuff, and obviously there's tons and tons of stuff going on in the wellness world, but comment on our social media pages,
Ask us
ask
questions.
us questions. Yeah, we would love to run with anything that's most valuable for you because as you guys know, we want to help you take control, and the best way to do that is know what we can do to help you do that. So,
Seriously, if you want Gus to start dancing in every intro, we will make that
oh
happen.
gosh, I can't dance.
The most important thing that I want to leave you guys with is that we want to meet you where you're at, whether it be GLP-1, whether it's not, whether it's Diet Coke or not. Like we just want to make you feel supported throughout the process of gaining muscle, losing weight, reducing risk, whatever it may be. So
Sweet. Awesome. Thank you guys very much. Share with friends and family if you think they'd enjoy it. Thank you.